Okay, good evening. We saw today we left off in the Mishnah. We had halacha that if you go ahead and you have shinu kodesh, shinu bailim, the carbon is kasha. L'shloy oil bailim shem chova, and we found sources for it. We said a chatas and a pesach, however, are different. That not only are they pasul, but loyal bailim shem chova, so that they don't count. This morning we discussed the sources for pesach. This evening we discussed the sources for what for chatas. Okay, the sources for chatas. There are, it seems to be repetitious to an extent. Um, this might be of help. Now, you're going to have sukkim that there's a mitzvah. I know, I'm sorry, it's a little schwach, right? Okay, a little better, right? Okay, there's a mitzvah and there's ma'akev. Now, there's going to be three opinions. The first limud until the question of Ravina. As a result, according to Rava, and then we're going to have the maskana, right, for these dinim. Now, what dinim are on discussion? Again, achatas with shinu kodesh, shinu bailim, right? Now, in addition to that, it's a mitzvah that has to be lishma, and as opposed to other animals which would be kosher, we need psukim to tell me it's la'akev, that it doesn't work. The same way we did with Pesach this morning, we're going to do it with over here. So this is the chart. This is the chart. It's psukim. It's psukim. So we'll go through the first one, go back to the chart, then we'll go, we'll do it shlav by shlav. We'll do it like line by line, but now that's basically the format of the daf, right? The format of the daf is the three ways to go ahead and figure out why a chatas shaloi lishma is a mitzvah that has to be lishma, and B, and if it's not lishma, as opposed to oila mishlamim, similar to Pesach, the chatas is puzzle. That's the share. So the Gemara starts off on the bottom of Zion Amid Beis. Chatas minalan. How do you know chatas has to be lishma? Right? How do you know chatas has to be lishma? Where's the source for the chatas being lishma? Tichsiv v'shachar oisol lechatas. This might sound familiar. We've said it quite a few times. Tehei shchita l'shem chatas. That the shchita should be l'shem chatas. Ashkan shchita kabbalah minalan. Again, we know there's four avodas, right? Shchita, halacha, kabbalah, v'zrika. Keep in mind, fellas, halacha and kabbalah we've established are one, right? Because we use the lashon of the hikriv to mean Kabbalah. The hikriv means to come close. So the Torah uses the lashon of halacha as of Kabbalah as the hikriv to tell me they're one and the same. So now, I know it says the shachat. I know that has to be lishma because it says oisa. Right? Kabbalah minalan. How do you know if you do Kabbalah shaloi lishman? How do you know? Excuse me, that doesn't work. That has to be lishma. Dichsiv amid aleph. V'lakach hakoyin midam achatos shedei kabbalah l'shem chatos. The ashkin shchita, we find shchita v'kabbalah zrika minala. Notice they leave out halacha because it's one and the same, right? The makro v'chipro alav hakoyin michatosoi. Then the koyin shem mechaper. What does that mean? Shedei kapar l'shem chatos. That's the kapar l'shem chatos. So right now, fellas, we have our sources. Let's go back to the chart. It'll be helpful. Shchita v'shachar solachatas. Let me make it a little larger. Shchita v'shachar solachatas. Kabbalah v'halakha and halacha v'lakach hakoyin midam achatas. Tzrika v'chipra l'bakayim michataso. Okay, so this is for shinui kodesh, right? Now we're going to the next shlav. How do you know shinui bailim? How do you know that shinui bailim, which again was understood in the Mishnah as one of the shaloi lishma? Now not only shinui kodesh, shinui bailim. So here we go. Aslan shinu kodesh, shinu bailim minalan. Amakra alav, the chipra alav v'leil chaveroi. So it has to be for him, not his friend. Ashkechan, we find le mitzvah. We find le mitzvah la'akev minalan. How do you know that if you don't do it, it's not kosher as opposed to the oil of Ishlamim war? Kidam Rav Huna Breder Yeshua chatasai. It's speaking by what? This pasuk is speaking, the exact pasuk is by the chatas of a nazir. It could have said chatas, and it says chatasai, and it has the extra vav. It has an extra vav. What is the extra vav to teach me? Right? Hachanami, it says over here, chatasai. So the extra vav tells me it's ma'akiv. So let's see what we got so far. Let's see. Let's check our chart. Okay, so now we're in the Shinu Bailim. So shchita, chatasai, asuya. Okay, so far that's not good. Zrika, guys. That pasuk speaking about zrika. Look at the chart. The chibul of akayim chatasai, right? V'layal chaveiroi. That's what we said. Right? This is Shinu Bailim. Kabbalah bailacha chatasai. She'asi l'shem ba'ila. Chatasai she'asui l'shem ba'ila. Okay, let's. I think I jumped the gun. Let's see a little bit inside. Let's see a little more inside. I might have jumped the gun a little bit. Chatas chatasoi, hachanami chatas chatasoi. Ashken mitzvah b'shini kodesh, uzrika b'shini bailim. We find the mitzvah by all four avodas. We find zrika by shini bailim. Bein lemitzvah, bein la'akev. La'akev b'shini kodesh. La'akev b'shini kodesh, b'shar avodas b'shini bailim. And the shar avodas b'shini bailim. You only know zrika by shini bailim. How do you know the other what? The other three? Right? Bein lemitzvah, bein la'akev, minalon, amrav huna, asya mechatas nazir, dichsiv, v'hikr b'koyin l'fnei Hashem, v'asu es chatasai v'es oilasai, she'ikol asiyosav l'shem chatas. Okay, so I think, what do we have so far? Again, I just want to keep on making this go. So now we're up to la'akev. So it says, v'asu es chatasai v'es oilasai, she'ikol asiyosav l'shem chatas. We don't know Kabbalah Valacha from Zrika, the same pasuk, and that's by Shinu Kodesh. Now we're up to Shchita by Shinu Bailam, right? Where does it say Chatas Chatasai by Nazir? Sheikol Asiyosav l'shem Bailam, and therefore, it sounds very much the same. But that's why you little the chart. At least the psukim become a little more alive. Okay, so what do? We have Shinu Kodesh, Shinu Bailam l'mitzvah. We have Shinu Kodesh, Shinu Bailam l'inyan la'akev, and we have the psukim. Good. The bottom line is, fellas, we know at the end of the day, we're going to turn back to Dalit on the base, and we go to the bottom, to that Hekesh. At the end of the day, everything you learn after that Hekesh. Now, in fact, guys, if you look at Rashi, in fact, if you look at Rashi on the top of the page, two lines down, Ashkel mitzvah, Kasha, mitzvah mehek Hekesh, d'zay satar mishlamim asya, kishar kol hazvachim. You can learn out from the Hekesh like all other zvachim. It says, at the end of the day, that's where you're going to learn it from. In other words, I'd rather, if I can, find out from the source of Chatas itself, not to depend upon the Hekesh. At the end of the day, we're going to have to depend upon the Hekesh. So this really is a classic Gemara. Like I'm giving at the end of the book. At the end of the book, that Hekesh is going to go compared to Shlamim. We know Shlamim, Shini Bailim, Shini Kodesh. And all we have to know is Ma'akiv. And you know what the answer is? Guys, listen. All the psukim that we wanted to learn, that you go ahead and all the psukim that you just have on the board there, right? Those psukim I don't need because I have the Hekesh. Those psukim are the repeat to Ma'akiv. Since I don't need them, it's Ma'akiv. Initially, I thought I needed Lemitzvah. Again, the rule of Kachim, guys, is if you have a repeat, it's ma'akev to say that it's no good. Okay, so right now, that's where we're holding. Okay, says the Gemara. Ashkan shinu kaider shinu bailim minalon. Today we're in the shinu bailim. I'm skipped the parentheses. Amrav huna breder Yeshua chatas so. Okay, so this is again we've completed the first shlav. Now we're going to have the question of Ravina. Maskav Ravina, Elameyata. If you're telling me what? Chataso, if you're telling me there's such a limit with that extra vav, if you're telling me there's a limit with that extra vav, it says oilas, and it says Oiloi Soy. What drasha will you make from that? What drasha will you make from that? Now the Gemara says Ul Ravina Minchas Minchaso Nesach Nisko My Darashtabahu. You're only asking by Oiloi, you can ask by other places too. Says the Gemara, no. Hahumi Boile, that I do need the Kabbanis, that I have a limit for mincha. Mincha som v'niskehem b'layla. So I know from the word mincha so and nisko that even if the carbon's bought during the day, you can bring, it's a company mincha and it's the company libation at night. Some kabbanis have an accompany mincha and a nisuch, right? Those can be at a different time, even where a carbon can't be bought at night. That's the limit of mincha so. Nisko can tell me it could be bought at nights. So I'm only worried about oila so. I have a sword. I can use mincha. I could use oila. Right? Again, how do we get into this? Because you're dashing chat hasoch the extra vav. You're asking oila so. So according to you, you're asking oila so. Why you Ravino are limiting your question to oila so? Extend it to mincha so v'nisko. No, mincha so v'nisko is to teach me that even though the carbon's during the day, I can bring it at night. Miskehem, I feel a little mach even the next day. Ella oilas oilas say my darish. Why do you dash him at? Why do you dash him oil from oilas oilas so? Okay. Says okay. So that's what he wants to know. Visu. In addition, okay. Now you went ahead and you're learning from chatas nazir to chatas chelev, guys. The assumption is when it says stam chatas in the Torah, it's a chatas chelev. That's the chiyuv of kares. Again, when the Torah uses the word chatas, a chatas you're bringing on one of the 36 things you be chayiv kares for. And the one that we always speak about is a chatas chelev. So when our Mishnah said chatas, you meant the chatas chelev. You're learning it from where? From Nazir. You're learning from Nazir. And you're learning Nazir from it. You're learning from Nazir to chelev, that a mitzvah lishma. Guys, listen to me. You're learning from Nazir, chatas Nazir, to chelev that has to be lishma. And you're learning from Chalev to Nazir, that's Ma'akiv. How could you learn one from the other? I got a kasha. Again, we have a mem with Sina. We're learning Chatas. And we're learning Chalev from Nazir and Nazir from Chalev. You're learning Chalev from Nazir to teach me it's a mitzvah lishma. You're learning Nazir from Chalev to teach me that what? That it's Ma'akiv. That if you do it, the carbon's no good. So two questions. One, how can you dash in Chataso if you don't have a drasha for oilas so? In addition, v'su mi gomri me'adadi, can you learn chelev from chatas and vice versa? Chatas chelev and chatas nazir like gomra. You know why you can't learn chatas chelev from chatas nazir? Shekain yesh imah damim. Guys, the chatas of a nazir is accompanied by an oil and a shlamim. Guys, the chatas of a nazir is accompanied with the oil and shlamim. Chatas chelev is v'isakaris. Nazir is not Isakaris. In other words, each one has a chumrah of the other, so how can you learn these halachas that you want to learn? Says the Gemara. You have other kabbanis accompanying with it. That's why you can't learn chatas chelev and chatas nazir. Chatas nazir and chatas chelev, you shouldn't be able to learn that it's ma'akiv. Loi gamra, shekain karis. It's an Isakaris. So that's the kasha on this limud. So we had a limud over here, guys. It's a geschmacka chart, I'm telling you. Guys, I'm just going to go give a little overview, okay? Make it a little smaller. We have 4 boxes. We have mitzvah of shinu kodesh shinu bailim. We have la'akiv shinu kodesh shinu bailim. And you're learning it out from Nazir. So basically right now, because of this kasha of Ravina, that how could you learn out Chatas Chelev, Chatas Nazir, and vice versa? Chatas Chelev, you can't learn out from Nazir. Nazir has a company Kabbanis. Chelev from Nazir, you can't learn out because it is the Karis. Memela, we're going to have to come up with new limudim. Okay? So now, this is Rabbi's teretz. These are going to be the same. Shachar Yisrael Chatas Lishma. V'lakach HaKoyin is speaking about Kabbalah v'Halacha. Chipul of HaKoyin is speaking about Zrika. And it says I saw, so it's got to be Lemitzvah. How do you know what? Shinui Bailim. So over here, guys, he's not going to learn from Chataso of Nazir. He's going to learn from, is it up close and personal? He's going from Chatas Mitzvah. He's going to learn from the Chatas Mitzayra. It says, "Allah v'chipol of a coin." The lashon of the pasuk is for us a coin is a Chatas v'chipe al hamit taher. I'll be mechape for the one who needs the kapara. Haynu l'shem bailam. Guys, you see this? I can't. I don't think I can get closer than this. I really could. There you go. If you can't see this, see Dr. Press. Okay. Lenny, a little shout out there. So yeah, that's Mitzayra, guys. It says Al Mitaher, and that's going to be for Shinu Bailam, right? So you understand. Once you understand what we're trying to do over here, it's geschmack, right? You wanted to learn out Chaylev Nazir. I can't do that. I can learn out the Chatas part for the mitzvah. I could. Shinu Bailam. Okay, now. So what am I going to do? I'm going to learn from Mitzayra, and let's see if that works. Okay. And that's what the Gemara is going to do right now. And again, we have to fill in the boxes. You got to fill in mitzvah, la'ak. You got shina kodesh, shina bailim, right? Le'inyan mitzvah and le'inyan la'akev. And of course, three avodas, shchita, halach v'kabalu as one, and zrika. Ela Amar Rava, this is Rava now. Ela Amar Rava, asya mechatas mitzayra. You can learn that from chatas mitzayra. It says, v'asra koines achatas. What is asa? Asa is the greatest limud, right? Because it takes care of all of our limudim, all of our avodas at once. It says, all of its avodas should be l'shem chatas. The ashton shinu kodesh, that's you find by shinu kodesh. Shinu bailim minole. So amakro v'chipa al mitaher, al mitaher zeh v'le mitaher chaveiroi. On the person who needs it, not in someone else. So that teaches me it has to be Shinu Bailam. Vakati mi yalfe mi adodi. I got a problem now, guys. What are you learning out? You're learning out Chatas Chayla from Mitzayra, right? You have a problem. You're learning out Chatas Chayla from Mitzayra. Chatas Chayla mi Chatas Mitzayra yalfi shekain yeshima damim acherim. The same kasha you have by Nazir, you have by Mitzayra. The Mitzayra is accompanied by a Chatas, an Oila, and an Asham. Just like the Nazir had a Chatas and an Oila, this has what? And accompanying the Chatas is an Asham and an Oila. So maybe that's why you need Lishma. Mitzvah mechatas chaylev loy gamra. You can't learn after the ma'akiv. Shekain karis. This is the karis by chaylev. Okay. So in other words, the same problem we had learning chatas chaylev from Nazir and vice versa is the same problem we have chatas chaylev chatas mitzayros. How can you do it? So what's the Gemara going to do? I can't learn out from Nazir alone. I can't learn out from Mitzayra alone. Maybe I can learn a Chatas Chaylev from a combination of both. Which is, again, this is the classic, put it back in the hopper, right? You can't learn one from the others, put it back in the hopper. Okay, so now, let's learn out Chatas Chaylev from two. Now, which one shouldn't you write? Don't write the din of Lishma by Chatas Chaylev. V'teisei mehanach from Nazir and Mitzayra, malahanach Nazir and Mitzayra sheken yesh imoim dam macherim. They have other kabbanis brought with them. Le'lichterach mana b'chatas Nazir and learn out Mitzayra and Chaylev. V'teisei mehanach Mitzayra and Chaylev, malahanach Mitzayra and Chaylev sheken ein lehem she'ela. You can't take it off. You're a Mitzayra. You can't say I'm shoyl on my Mitzayra kite. You can't say that. What if I'm Chaylev? Ich hab nicht gegessen. But you could say, I don't want to be a Nazir. You could be Shoyl on your Naziris. So Mamel, it has that. Okay? Loi lichterach mana b'chatas mitzayra. V'teisei mehanach learning from Nazir and Chaylev. Malahanach Nazir and Chaylev. Shekein ein ba b'dalus. Oh. Guys, you hear this? A mitzayra is one of the kabbanis that's an oil of yored, depending on your status. Right? Nazir doesn't have that component, and neither does Chaylev. So how could you learn out what? How can you learn out Mitzayra from the other two? So Ella Amakra. So guys, what do you have to conclude? Ella Amakra. You bring everything. Hekeshin Akasav L'Shlamim. You bring Dalit, guys. You bring in Dalit Amid Beis. Mamish. The first parak of Zevachim always boils down to Dalit Amid Beis. You bring in that Hekesh. Right? Let's go back to Dalit Amid Beis. Again, you're going to know this till it comes out of your kishkis. Dalit Amid Beis. Okay? 3 lines from when it gets wide. Hakesh nakasel b'shlamim. Ma shlamim bein shini kodesh bein shini bailim bein yin l'shma. Af kol bein shini kodesh bein shini bailim bein l'shma. Okay, so now guys, I know a chatas has to be l'shma. How do I know it's ma'akiv? And you know the answer? All the besukim you brought before, now are teaching me that it's ma'akiv. All the besukim you brought before the mitzvah are now ma'akiv, right? Let's see it inside. Hakesh nekas l'shlam, mal l'shlam bein l'shina kodesh bein shina l'bayim bein l'shma, l'mitzvah avchatas bein shina kodesh bein l'shma is l'mitzvah. The mitzvah to do with l'shma. Hilkach mitzvah mishlamim, right? Hilkach mitzvah mishlamim. We learn out a mitzvah that it's a mitzvah l'shma by a chatas, whether it's shina kodesh shina bailim. We learn it out from shlamim. V'hanach kroy la'akiv, and this kroy is to ma'akiv. Now the chart is complete. What happened over here? I lost my chart. Rufia Maskana, from Hekesh to Shlamim. So you learn out, guys, we're learning out the Avoidus. This Avoidus Shchita, Kabbalah Bailacha, and Zrika. Where are you learning about? From the Hekesh. That's Shina Kodesh. Where are you learning at Shina Bailim from? Mina Hekesh, the Shlamim. Just like a Shlamim, you need Lishma by both, right? Now, that takes care of the mitzvah. La'akev. Now, how do you know Ma'akev? How do you know? How do you know Ma'akev? Now these are the psukim, guys. If you look up here, these are the psukim we used to teach me you need it for the mitzvah. But I don't need it anymore. I don't need these psukim anymore. Here you go. Look down at the bottom. You got it? This to this. Next. Look down here again. Right? Look down here again. It's geschmack. I don't need it anymore, the mitzvah, because I have the hekesh. So memela, what is it there for? Le'akev, geschmack. And then you have over here the same thing, the same, this, and this, and then you have one more pasuk of people who are koyim. Okay, so I think that. And we're very happy that this chart can be brought into the blog instead of bringing in some foreign stuff. You can bring in original Ksav Yad. It fits in beautiful, guys, right? It fits in, the whole thing fits. Mamish Gavaldi. Okay. B'hanach kroy la'akiv, beautiful. B'ashken chatas chaylev dechsibei lechatas, amid beis. So good. We know chatas chaylev, that because it says lechatas, so I know chatas chaylev. Chatas, the avodas kechavim, and the shmiyas kol, ubitis vasayim, the tumas mikdash kedashav. In other words, these chatas that are unique, avodas kechavim, it's in Pasha Shlach that it's accompanied with an oila, and you have what shmiyas kol. These are the oila v'yarid and v'yikra hay. So the chatas is avodas zara. If you shoygeg and you bring an ace as a chatas, you don't bring you bring a male, right? And I said a par. That's for helam dava. This is just an ace lechatas, and the shmiyas kol is shuas edis. Bites v'sayim is lahara lahetiv. Thomas mikdash kedashav the loy kesiv bahu. It doesn't say chatas minalon that if you bring them lishma that they're what they're puzzle and le'oil b'am shem chayva. Says the Gemara chatas laves kechavim asya mechatas chaylev. I can learn about chatas chaylev. Why? Because karis kamoisa. Because chatas chaylev is nis the karis. Avodah zarah is nis the karis. So I can learn about one from the other. And kul v'hanach kula asyan b'mehatzad. And you learn all of them from what? From a mehatzad. All of them you learn out from a mehatzad. What's the mehatzad? Let's see Rashi. Asya b'mehatzad. Right? You learn on mehatzad. Mechatas chaylev v'chatas nazir u'mitzayra. You're going to learn out everything the shvus bitoy and you can learn them all out, guys, from these three. In other words, we're going to have a common denominator between the Chaylev chatas in the nazir in the mitzvah that would include shmias kol and include bitas vasayim and tumas mitzvah shagdashav. The chi parachta malachatas chaylev shekein karis chatas nazir mitzvah yachiach. Malachatas nazir mitzvah shekein yeshi moim don macherim. They have other korbanos accompanying them. Chatas chaylev tochiach. Hatzarat sava shebehen. If you look at the shitim kubetzes yud, Hatzarat sava shebehen. Find the yud in the shitim kubetzes. Shehin chatois utzrichim lishma ben shinu kodesh ben shinu bailim. Afani avi, so too I'll bring all the other chatos. I'll bring all the other ones that what that the shaloi lishma ben shinu kodesh ben shinu bailim. They'll be puzzle. Okay, weiter. Ton Rabbanan. Pesach bismanoi. A Pesach bismanoi, meaning on Yud Dalid, lishma is kasha, that as it should be. Shaloi lishmai on Yud Dalid, it's puzzle. We had psukim for that this morning. Ubishayimos hashana, all the rest of the days of the year, if you bring a Pesach lishmai, puzzle. I can't bring a Pesach in September. It doesn't. It doesn't exist. Shaloi lishmai. If I bring it shaloi lishmai, then it's kasha. Minani mili that it's kasha. How do you know a Pesach shaloi bismanoi? The rest of the year it's kasha. Minani mili amravu the shmuel amakra the minat soin karbanoi. What does the pasuk say? The minat soin karbanoi lazevach shlamim lashem zachar oy nekeva tamim yakrivenu. Fellas, the minat soin karbanoi. Which is the carbon that's only from tzayin? It's the carbon Pesach, fellas. A carbon Pesach's only from a shepsela and a tzig and a goat, right? That's it. Memela v'imminat tzayin karbanoi. You know what's going to be? It's going to be a shlamim. That's the limud. Says the Gemara. Watch. V'imminat tzayin karbanoi. And if you're being a tzayin, a carbon that is unique to tzayin, which is a Pesach, l'zevach shlamim la'Hashem. Davar haba minat tzayin yil l'zevach shlamim. Something that should be that comes from tzayin, such as the Pesach, will be l'shlamim. Fred the Gemara ema shlamim in midi achrin aloi. Maybe only if you shech the Pesach the same shlamim. Why don't you shech the Pesach same oila? You're telling me the rest of the year it's kosher, right? But if this is the pasuk, then it would be only if you shech the l'shem shlamim. What happens if you shech the l'shem oila, right? Amar Rav Eloi, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, l'zevach, when it says l'zevach shlamim, l'rabbi is called zevach. It's l'rabbi if you shech the Pesach, any zevach. Ve'ema called the shochet lahavi k'moisa. Okay, so maybe if you shecht it should be like it. If I shecht it, guys, I shecht the Pesach the rest of the year. It's a shlamim, right? Maybe you shecht it for an oila, it should be an oila. In other words, you're telling me that you have a ribuy of zevach, correct? So why are you limiting it to shlamim? Maybe what? If you shech the Pesach for an oila, it should be an oila. Says the Gemara, "Habi ksiv l'shlamim v'zevach." If it would have said the following, "V'minat soin karbano l'shlamim v'zevach," you know what I would have said, fellas? Look at me. I would have said, if you shech the Pesach l'shlamim, oila zevach, or for another zevach, and then it would be whichever one. You shechted it for shlamim, it would be a shlamim. Oila zevach, and noila would be an oila. But it doesn't say shlamim oila v'zevach. Why does it say? It would be like you said. An oila, it would be an oila. But hashta d'chsiv l'zevach shlamim, now that it says the word zevach before shlamim, l'chol d'shochet le shlamim lahave. Anything that you shech the Pesach, anything should be a shlamim. Fred Gemara, ema l'zevach klal, shlamim prat. Okay, we've done this before. You have the klal zevach, you have the prat shlamim. What's the rule? Klalu prat ein b'chal al mashe b'prat. Shlamim min midi achrin aloi. So therefore, if I shech the l'shem shlamim, it would be a shlamim. But if I shech the l'shem oila, it should be puzzle. Again, you read the pasuk like this: V'minat soin karban l'zevach shlamim l'Hashem. Zevach is lashon klal. Shlamim is a prat. You want to tell me that the current Pesach, that the rest of the year automatically becomes the shlamim, regardless of what you have in mind? Maybe not. Maybe only if you have shlamim in mind. Maybe only if you have shlamim in mind. Why? Because it's a klal of prat. The shlam. This what's the klal if you shecht? as what? As a shlamim. But if you shechted for something else, it should be puzzle. If you're going to dash in the kalu prat, then the shechted shem oil should be puzzle. Says the Gemara, shlamim in midechra. I mean, Eloi, la Hashem hada b'chlal. So it's not a kalu prat; it's kalu prat to klal. And we had this very similar Gemara earlier. It's Baruch Hashem makes it easier. So read it like this: Lezevach shlamim la Hashem. And now, therefore, any carbon that goes to Hashem, if you shecht tzoyin, a Pesach, it's a shlomim. Okay. Maskal Rabbi Yaakov in our pocket, halei domi kol basul kol kama. The first klal of Zevach is not similar to kol Hashem. Why? Klal kama marbe Zevachim, the suloi. The first klal only includes what? Blood karbonis. Zevach. Klal basur Hashem. Kol Hashem, any carbon Hashem. The afilu oifis, afilu mincha nachos. If you checked a Pesach l'shem mincha or l'shem oif, also would seem to be included. Not, I mean, I can't imagine that it is, but I'm saying in the rule of klalu prat, the second one is marba more than the first. The first would be limited to blood karbonis. The second one would include birds. Well, even though they're blood karbonis, they're malika karbonis. They're nipped, and they have. Or the mincha, which is not a blood carbon at all. So what did we answer before? Hatan Rabbi Shmuel, who is the Morid the Shmaitza of Yud Gimel Mitis. B'chal prati darish ki haygavna. In this case, we're going to darshan what? Klal prat. We would darshan in that way. In this way, we'll darshan klal prat, even though the first klal is marba more than is mamayit, and the second one is more inclusive. We'll darshan it. Says Gemara. You have to do an elokein prat. Ma pam mefurish shehu shaloi l'shmoi v'kosher. Af kol shehu shaloi l'shmoi v'kosher. Ima pam mefurish dava abba b'neder v'nedava. It's only a shlomim which is more b'neder v'nedava. Af kol dava abba b'neder v'nedava. If you bring the Pesach, it has to be something that's neder v'nedava. Oil v'shlomim in chatas v'yashim lo. Guys, if I sech the Pesach the rest of the year, the same chatas, the same shlomim, or the same asham, mashma, it will be a shlomim. But why would you say that? If your rule that you're learning from is Zevach Shlomim and you're learning from Klal Prat to Klal, the Prat is the what? Is Shlomim. Shlomim is like an oil, Nedav in a Dava. But Chatas and Osham, which are Chiyuvim, maybe not. What do you have to say? The Zevach Riboyahu, right? Zevach is a Riboy. Rashi brings that since it says Zevach Shlomim, two words, it's not going to darshan as a Klal, we're going to darshan as a Riboy. And once you're marba, you can be marba everything. Okay, stop over here.